the look of an eagle, that sort of harsh, cold look. And yet, here they come in the time of year when we're in the darkest time of the year, and they come and they bring us a promise of light that's going to grow into springtime.
Jim Wisnia is a teacher at the North Vancouver Outdoor School, a school that focuses its courses on the ecosystem in this rainy valley on the BC coast. Today, Wisnia guides a nature group through the salmon spawning channels the school has set up.
Those nutrients are recycled through the system. First of all, broken apart by the larger decomposers like eagles.
Bald eagles have been coming to the Squamish River Valley practically forever. 5,000 years of native occupation did little to change that. But 50 years of modern development is threatening to.
And all forward. Stop.
It's not like we don't care.
And forward.
Few species could convince so many people to get so wet in the name of sightseeing. In this valley during winter, bird watchers are treated to branches full of eagles, white-capped adults, darker-colored immatures who will take 5 years to gain that distinctive white head. It's a sight some find overwhelming.
This man from Boston walk up on the river, on the dike, and he sees 200 eagles, and he weeps. In Boston, when they see one eagle, it's front page news.
Tor Froslev owns the Brackendale Art Gallery, a gallery that pays homage to this area's biggest winter tourism draw, the eagles.
So did you buy anything up there?
No, not yet.
Well, how am I going to make a living?
Yeah, we'd like to buy it.
We do rafting tours, we do walking tours, and it's enjoyable. It isn't like we had to build a Flintstone Park or a Disneyland to plug into. We just plugged into what was already here.
Froslev plugged into the eagle experience by offering his place as a home base for the annual Christmas Eagle Count. It was a low-key event until the unforgettable Eagle Count of 1994.
In an area where we usually have 200 eagles, and there were 600 eagles, I'm going, well, that's really good. And then another area where there were 600 eagles, all of a sudden there was 1,365 eagles. You can feel your energy just rise. What is happening here? And we ended up with 3,700, and that was a world record. Up until that, it was Chilkat, Alaska with 3,595.
Almost 4,000 eagles on a small stretch of river an hour's drive from Vancouver. Little wonder that many more thousands of people now head here to see and learn more about the eagles.
The eagles come here from as far away as Arizona and Saskatchewan. They're drawn by one of the last big salmon runs of the year, and believe it or not, by the weather. Because even though it's plenty wet, at least the food isn't frozen or covered with snow. Those long flights are evidence that this piece of winter habitat is both critical and increasingly rare.
There's an adult in that broken top conifer.
Barry Booth and Marcus Merkins are biologists hired to study the eagles.
Where you have a healthy salmon run is typically where you have eagles. Well, historically, there have been salmon runs up and down the coast of North America, and over time those options, if you want to refer to them as that, have been eliminated through hydroelectric dams, urbanization, all through Washington State and Oregon State and parts of California as well. Those options no longer exist, or they don't exist to the same extent that they have in the past.
Development has cost the Northwest U.S. their salmon and with them their eagles. And everyone knows the same thing could happen here as salmon decline and covetous human eyes are cast on the real estate the birds depend on. Tor Froslev.
I mean, when you look at the other side of the river, it's pristine, it's wonderful. I know that if a man is a developer, when he looks at that other side, something clicks inside and go, oh, that would be a nice place to build such and such and such and such. Well, we can't have that.
But preventing it will be expensive. And in that, the eagles have found an unlikely ally. A public service arm of the lumber industry has contributed $2 million to begin the process of creating an eagle preserve.
Both the Greens and Browns agree that this is a significant and important area to preserve. So it's looking hopeful.
That's not to say the issue is settled. Much of the land the eagles need is private land. It will take time and money to convince the owners to limit their plans for development. That's where the early research is aimed, identifying exactly which land is most critical to the eagle's survival.
Oh, I didn't. Is that a bird there?
But land is just part of the answer.
We'll have to protect more than eagles, that's for sure. We'll have to protect their habitat, their perching, roosting, and feeding habitat. We'll have to protect their food sources, the fish, and we'll have to protect their privacy.
Privacy. Every year, there's less of it for the eagles, and that's a worry.
We figure that probably half of the immature birds don't make it through this winter season. Every time that there is a disturbance that takes place, it can interrupt their feeding or make them flush from one perch to have to find another perch, and that all uses up energy that they're working really hard to conserve.
As it turns out, the biggest threat to the eagles may be their fans, the hundreds of people who show up daily over the winter for a glimpse at a natural wonder.
And forward paddle.
There are 2 rafting companies on the river now. There's talk of as many as 7.
Left back, please, left back.
It's a wonderful opportunity for us economically to attract all of this eagle viewing public here, but we also have a responsibility to educate them so that they aren't, in fact, making life harder for the eagles.
That's the idea behind the Eagle Watch volunteer program that local authorities have set up. Viewing areas a river's breadth away allow the eagles a comfort zone, and the volunteers are trying to spread an eagle watcher's code of ethics. No one knows how many winter feeding grounds bald eagles have left. All we do know is that this one is critical, and it could be made to work for both the birds and the community that's grown up around their ancient feeding grounds.
Quite amazing to see eagles kind of straddling their way under the trees, dragging carcasses.
For Jim Wisnia, the critical work now is to spread the understanding about just how important the eagles are, not just to the ecology or the economy, but to the spirit of a place appropriately called Paradise Valley.
Because they come in this dark time of year and they're sort of harbingers of the light to come, I think of them as giving hope. And to me, I need to see the eagles keep coming back.
For CBC News, I'm Jim McQuarrie near Squamish, BC.